And a very good afternoon and warm welcome to the CuppaChino Club's social TV show. It's day 5 of the 21-day lockdown in South Africa due to the coronavirus, and we're checking in on each other and checking on you, our guests today. So if you're joining us live, welcome to the show. We've got guests on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. So welcome to each one of you. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brigitte Limbanda from Cape Town in South Africa, your host, and my co-host is Viola Manuel. Welcome, Viola.
Hi, Brigitte. How has day 5 been going?
Awesome. Let's just welcome Chanel as well. Chanel Fredericks is with us today as our special guest. So welcome to the show, Chanel. Let's just before we get into the chatter of how our day has gone, please tell everyone what your background is.
Okay, so my day has been good so far. Actually, this morning I got a lovely call from my boss, Professor Eric Atmore, which was really lovely. He did a quick check-in with us. He asked me what I'm doing, just to make sure that I am doing some work. But he also said, you know what, take some time also just to chill, do some self-care, look after yourself and so forth. So that was really nice.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Sure. So I'm a social worker by profession, and I work at the Center for Early Childhood Development. I am the outreach program manager for the Cape Town Museum of Childhood, which is a flagship project of the Center for Early Childhood Development. It's a very exciting project because it's the first of its kind in Africa. There's no museum that, or ours is the first museum that actually focuses on childhood and celebrating childhood. So my job is to take the museum outside of its physical space and take it to communities where children might not be able to access the museum. So it's to make them feel part of the museum.
That is awesome. So how are you currently using digital media to do that?
Yes, so funny enough, on Thursday is International Children's Book Day, and I planned this whole program. We were going to invite a school over to the museum, and an author of a children's book called, the book is called Pumpkin Finds a Queen, and the author is Bianca Flanders. I've been in contact with her and I said, listen, your book is so great. Let's do a story reading session with some children. And then the lockdown happened and I thought, okay, no, now we need to get a bit creative. So on Thursday, I'm still going to be chatting to Bianca, and we are going to be doing an Instagram live video. So I'm going to be interviewing her about her book. And yeah.
What's the name of the book, Chanel? Pumpkin Finds a Queen.
Pumpkin Finds a Queen. It's about this young girl who thinks that her curly hair, natural hair, is bad. So she's not happy about having this curly hair. And then in the end, she realizes that it's the curly hair that makes her special.
Okay. Well, from what I've heard now with the whole lockdown thing, not being able to go to the hairdresser, that's probably a good book for some of us because we are going to find ourselves turning into a few pumpkins very, very shortly.
That is true. That is true.
Yes,
and we just need to embrace the pumpkin, you know, whatever that pumpkin looks like, just embrace it.
Yes.
I think now, we've just coined a new phrase. We've coined a new phrase, embrace the pumpkin in you.
There we go. There we go.
That's exactly it. Chanel, how have, what kind of, it's fantastic that your boss is called. I think that's something very unique. I've been speaking to quite a lot of people, and even on the show, we've been encouraging people to call their clients, their external customers. But I think what your boss has done is amazing, to just contact internal customers and just find out how they're doing. And I'm not sure that a lot of our entrepreneurs have given that some thought. I think that's a very, very good idea. So how has your boss and your colleagues, how have you guys been supporting each other through this whole lockdown experience?
No, it's been great. I mean, I've been doing a so my colleague and I is doing a report for the Finance and Fiscal Committee of South Africa. And so I've been having to touch base with her. So we're kind of doing WhatsApp, we're doing video calls and so forth. And even with my other colleagues, I mean, these are people that you see every day. So it's strange not to see them. So we kind of are keeping in touch, mostly through WhatsApp, on some occasions through email. And then my boss has been super fantastic, super supportive. I mean, when the lockdown was announced by President Ramaphosa, he sent us a message, a WhatsApp, to say, I just want to let you all know that your jobs are secure. Nobody's going to lose their job because of the coronavirus pandemic. Please know that your salaries will be paid every month. So he's been a really great, very assuring, and I feel very blessed to be able to work for an organization, and I must add that it's a non-profit organization at that, and I can't imagine what other non-profit organizations are going through, because I mean, even our work is in the field. It's about going there, working with ECD centers, training teachers, training principals, and so forth, and we're not able to do that at the moment. But because of our great saving and our reserves and good relationships with the funders that we work with, we're able to still pay salaries. So I'm really blessed in that regard.
Brigitte, have you heard of any entrepreneurs communicating these kinds of messages to their workers or to their internal customers?
I haven't yet. I'm sure there may be others that have done that, but we'd like to hear, what is happening in your case. What is it that you do? How are your employers doing? Are they being in contact with you? Are they sending you emails, or do they actually pick up the phone? I think if, for employers to be able to pick up the phone, obviously it's not quite possible if you're working in a large corporate environment to call every single employee. That's kind of not going to happen. But we've got technologies like Zoom, for example, and I've seen so many companies embrace technologies like Zoom to hold these meetings virtually, and to be able to have face-to-face conversation, because let's face it, an email is not going to cut it.
That's
not
right.
With time.
That's right.
We need a bit more than just an email. Right now, an email is not going to make anyone feel connected.
That's right.
You actually need visual contact with people.
Yeah. And I think what's been great is that in the show for the last few days, we've gotten so many great tips. And I think one of the tips we had was contact your customers. And we were saying, make a little video clip, or create some kind of communique for your clients that just tells them, look, these are some of the things we're planning for post-lockdown. These are the adjustments we're making. This is how we are working for you during this lockdown period. This is what you can be excited about. But I think it's actually such a nice idea. I mean, I think of myself, I would love to get an email, a voice note, or a video call from my boss saying, you know what, we know things are difficult. We want to be there for each other. I think that's a great idea. I mean, if you've got 2 or 3 people working in your organization, or if you've got the means to contact all of your internal customers, to just do that, I think that's such an amazing idea.
Yeah, we also,
and in terms of
okay, if I could just add, we are a smaller staff complement. I think we're about 20, and we have a WhatsApp group, which has also been really great. So today, one of my colleagues did an interview on Radio 786, and then we all could tune in and congratulate her and say well done on the interview and so forth. And even just simple things like birthdays. My boss is quite big on birthdays, so just keeping that connect.
Yeah, but it's also
in terms of
very... Go ahead.
I was going to say, for some people who may think they don't have other options, sometimes we do need to send emails. I don't want to discount the fact that we still need to maintain email correspondence, but there is a software called Loom. So if you haven't heard of Loom, go and have a look at Loom. It allows you to put a video clip into an email. So you can
Oh,
either do
wow.
the video inside the email, as part of the email, or as the entire email. So that's another
Yeah.
technology that is available to you. Now, when I say hello to Corinda and to Sivu um, on Facebook, who's watching us.
The one comment I wanted to make with these WhatsApp groups now, and I think it's also something that came up in our show, I think it was yesterday, is that it's also become quite difficult to discipline these groups, because everybody's sort of spamming everybody else with all this information around Corona,
Mhm.
and COVID-19 information and helpline information and so on. And sometimes inappropriate jokes and sometimes funny jokes. It's everybody's just sort of spamming these groups. So it's difficult to stay focused. And I think that's also one of the things that I'm finding a lot of people are talking about now, is that there is almost an overload on information. And we were talking about how easy it is then for fake news to sort of
Mm.
creep into the whole fray as well. Have you been having to deal with a lot of that, Chanel?
Um, Not so much on our work WhatsApp group. And if something does come in, my colleagues have been quite good and they're like, okay, this is fake news or this is official. So that's been good. Yeah, but I mean, on other groups, it's been crazy with all the COVID information. And yeah, it's difficult because everybody kind of wants to share. I mean, when you get information, you think, oh, well, this is so important. I need to share it with somebody else. But people are not really verifying if the information is true or not. So I think people should just be a bit cautious and think about, like, is this official information that I am sharing?
Yeah.
And I want to reiterate that it's more than just about being cautious. It's a criminal offense in South Africa to share fake news about the coronavirus. And I think we need to take this seriously. And what people may not realize is that we want to show love and we want to show kindness toward each other. Now, the people that are going to get into hot water and the people that will become prosecuted legally and liable for the fake news in these groups are the admins. They're
Mm,
going to get into legal hot water. So I think we need to be cognizant of the fact we want to show love and kindness towards the people that manage these groups, and they have got quite a job on their hands making sure that fake news stays out of the group. So, be aware that it's not just about you. It's also about the
yeah.
person that's going to take responsibility for the news that you're sharing. You won't get
Mm.
into trouble, but that person will.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Chanel, tell me, how have you sort of been planning your days, and how have you managed to stay disciplined? Because I think that's a big, just speaking to some of my colleagues and some of my friends, that's also been quite tough, being disciplined and saying, like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and like by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you realize you haven't done any of it. So, the distractions,
Yeah.
there's so many distractions at home. How are you staying focused and getting work done?
Yeah. Luckily, well, for me, my home environment is not one that, at work it's easy because everybody's productive. The energy is about producing work and working hard and going, working. At home, my mom's also working from home. My dad and my brother is currently taking up this project where they're paving the front of our yard. And then one of my friends is also spending lockdown with us, and she's also working from home. So far it's been very productive. If you're kind of just chilling and you feel a bit awkward, you say like, oh, everybody else is kind of working. So it's been good thus far. I try to get up around the same time I would get up normally from work. And then I just try and, stick to my sort of work schedule. I have my tea break at 10. And then lunch, we all do lunch together. And then I work again in the afternoon until about 4:30, and then I relax.
Mm.
So you're
Okay,
finding that
that's
maintaining a work schedule is what works for you.
Yes, definitely. I need to stay focused, otherwise I'll get too distracted by everything around me.
yeah. And what are you currently like working on? Because you said that a lot of your work is going to visit ECD centers, I think you said, and you're sort
Yeah.
of on the road visiting. So what are you currently busy with?
So yesterday I just finished my write-up that I was helping my colleague with for the report for the Finance and Fiscal Committee. So now I'm doing some research. My boss gave me a page, back-to-back page of potential funders. So I'm doing research whether these funders fund ECD work. And then I'm doing some prep work for my interview on Thursday. And then also just reading, it's important to be up to speed or up to date about what's going on in the sector. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm hoping to read some ECD policies, so I can get up to scratch with that as well.
Well, you've
Do you think this has created an
enthusiastic.
opportunity for you to do research that you otherwise may not have had the time to do?
Yes, no, listen, the other day I was thinking, I was thinking, should I actually just do a proposal for a doctorate? Like, this would be the right time to do it. But we'll see.
Well, I think it's important that whatever we do. Go ahead, Viola.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you, so in terms of work, you've been quite disciplined and all of that. Just as a matter of interest, what are some of the things that you're missing the most? That was another question somebody said to me the other day, like, what do you miss the most about the lockdown? Because, we've all been trying to find the silver lining, and I'm finding that there's a lot of more positive messaging coming out now, about how you should take this time for self-care and how you should take time to just breathe and all of that kind of stuff. But what are you mourning the loss of? I mean, what do you miss the most?
I must say I miss my colleagues in terms of work. I miss seeing them every day, and I think that's why I'm spending a lot of time doing video calls and things. I'm like, don't call me, let's do a video call so I can see your face. So I miss my colleagues, seeing them in the morning, especially lunchtime. I see myself making the types of lunch that we would do at work. So the other day I made our infamous toasted cheese in a pan sandwich, which my brother loved, and I added some dania on there, and that was quite exciting. I'm like, that's what we do every week at work. So missing those moments, just the interaction with the colleagues and just being together with them. And then besides work, I definitely miss my family, my extended family, my grandparents, my aunts, my cousins, my fiance. So that's been quite tough. But yeah.
I think that's the difficult part for most people in terms of relationships and trying to cope with that physical distance, especially if you come from a close-knit family or you have an office environment that you absolutely love. Then that it can be quite a challenge, and I think the mental adjustment, it takes mental work to be able to adapt to that. And unfortunately, I'm still seeing that there's not as much adoption in terms of digital as one would hope to see, although all the social media channels are saying, things are blowing up because they have so many billion increases in viewers and people on their platforms. But I think I'm talking about specifically in terms of the work environment. What has the adoption been? Are there still people that are scared to use technology or to embrace it? Are there people that could still be doing business, but they're not doing business because they don't know the technology or they're scared of the technology?
Yeah. Listen, my boss, my boss for a long time, he had what we call a block here, which is like literally a phone that goes no color screen. I don't think he could even play that game Snake on his phone. And now, about a year or two ago, he got a smartphone. So now he's baie opgemaak met sy smartphone, and he loves the fact that he can send out group messages on WhatsApp and do video calls and so forth. So it's nice to see some of the older generation embracing, technology. And it really does connect people. I think that's the benefit of it. Like, you can connect with other people.
It's like my mom and dad are much older. So, when my sister video calls and they'll sort of stare at the screen, and then I say to them, you can talk, you can say something to her. and then they realize, oh, they can have a conversation and so on. So it does, I think the great thing about this is that, everybody, doesn't matter what your background is, everybody's now having to have some level of dependence on technology. And I think that, I'm just reading an article today. There are so many new business opportunities coming that are based on tech platforms. So food delivery opportunities. If you're in that space, huge opportunities there. Homemade food, huge opportunities for delivery, huge opportunities there. So there's just, even amid this crisis, there are going to be booms in certain industries, and I really think that that's becoming quite interesting for me to just watch. But it's all technology based. The spaza shops now, all the support that the minister is giving the spaza shops requires for them to have bank accounts. They have to have some level of technology. They have to have some level of, they have to be tech savvy. They have to have opportunities for people to pay via EFT or to pay via credit card. So, Snap Scan, all these things. So, some of the criteria for most of these business opportunities are going to say you have to have a technology platform.
Which is good for our economy. It's one way of
Absolutely.
it's moving things forward. And I must say, I've looked at a lot of companies and people in general who have said, before they were saying, I'm camera shy, I can't do this. But because there's no other option now, I've seen the question shift from I'm camera shy, I don't know what to say, I don't know how I'm going to do this, to which technology can I use? So the focus has completely shifted. And I'm still looking forward to seeing how many companies are going to continue embracing technology when this is all said and done. Are they going to are we going to see more adoption for meetings going forward instead of people traveling to be together physically, because they can now see how well it can work to do video conferencing? The
Yeah.
technology is available, and I think people were scared of the unknown, and I guess now that they've tried the unknown and they can see that it can work, hopefully they will find innovative ways to continue in this vein once it's all said and done. How is are your colleagues, are you checking on each other apart from just WhatsApp? Do you call each other one-on-one? Because sometimes, it's one thing doing a group call, but sometimes people don't feel free enough to say how they really feel in a group environment. And I think, it's still like, as your boss did, it's still important to check on one another and say, how are you doing outside of the group calls?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely doing that. Just yesterday, I called one of my colleagues. It's the one that I've been working on the report with, and just did a check in with her, and it was lovely. It was a video call, and she decided to pull all these funny faces. Must be the lockdown that's affecting her, but it was lovely. So even today, I spoke to another colleague of mine, and I just said, "Oh, I miss you," and she's like, "Yes, I miss you too," and she said. So she's my colleague she's the only colleague that comes in high heels. And so she said, guess what? I'm wearing my pants with my high heels. And I said, that's how we know you, Zada. So, yeah.
But I think there's also going to be another thing that changes, because people are so used to dressing up to go out, because, you go out for work and so on. And now with all these video calls, there's so many, sort of animated things and funny memes going around of everybody dressing like really well from the top of their head to sort of waist down, and then afterwards you've got your you've got your
that's why I'm
pajama
not going to
on.
stand up.
You've got your pajama pants on, and you just hope that your device doesn't fall off the table or something, the dog pulls the cord or something. But I am finding that people have gone to a lot more casual, like a more casual look, even for the video, our board meetings and so on, in terms of what you do see about people. It's very casual. People are not, nobody's sitting there with suits and ties on as much as they do when you have to meet with them face to face. How, Chanel, how do you guys dress at work? Are you very casual? Are you very sort of formal? Do you think it's going to change after all of this?
We are very chilled at work. Like some of my colleagues come in shorts with their flip-flops. Some of us like to dress up with our high heels. Some of us like to wear summery dresses and so forth. It's a very chilled. Like you could literally come and wear whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
So but I
this,
mean, at home now.
Yeah. I'm saying after this, they might even come into their pajamas.
Oh no, I don't think that'll happen. We'll probably have a stop at the door like, no, Stacey, that is your pajamas. Go back home. Yeah, but I mean, we're very chilled. Now my attire is more like very chilled because I'm trying to do like a 21-day exercise program. So I kind of just dress for the workout. Yeah, and also I'm not going anywhere. Nobody's going to see me. So I mean, sometimes I don't even brush my hair. Today it's the most contained that it's been. So yeah.
Tell us about your
I must
efforts
say,
to stay healthy. Sorry, Brigitte, go ahead. Your efforts to stay healthy, your 21-day program.
Okay, so I've been really wanting to get my mom to join me to do some exercises, and then I thought I actually was doing these really cool videos with Viola at one point, and it was really cool because there's like the woman does some more intense moves, and then she does more like moves for beginners, and I thought this is an excellent video, and I just drew up a 21-day plan for my mom and I, and yeah, so we've been faithful thus far. Although today I must say I felt like this morning when I woke up, I felt like a truck just knocked me, like my body was quite sore today, but I am going to persevere and do day 5 today. So yeah, I just thought, if I can commit to other things in life, like a relationship and eating, then I can commit to exercising.
and that's good, not just for your physical health, but also for your mental health. A group of people, for example, that I think of often are people who struggle with mental health and are now isolated by default. And for those people, it's especially difficult. And sometimes we may not even be aware that some of our work colleagues may be struggling with mental health issues. And it may not have been such a huge challenge for them when we were in a normal environment. But right now it's business unusual. And so those people may be struggling a little bit more than they normally would have. And so that is mainly one of the reasons we need to touch base with each other, make sure that everyone is okay and that they're remaining safe.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah. So it's 21 days to create a new habit. And if you've started and you're doing day 5 now, then you're well on your way if you persevere for that to actually become a habit. And I think that's great. So you're coping, Chanel. You in a good space. How do you think you're going to be 21 days into this? I mean, but day 21, what do you think your thoughts are going to be?
I think by 21 days, I'm just going to, actually on day 20, I'm going to be singing Freedom is Coming Tomorrow. And then I'm probably going to just take like a long run. I'll probably run from here to my grandparents' house because I think I'll have just such a lot of adrenaline. And I'll probably just see all my loved ones. I think that's what I'm looking the most forward to, is just seeing my loved ones.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chanel. Thanks for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. It's a big pleasure. Thank you for sharing with us. By way of reminder, the CuppaChino Club does not in any shape or form support or promote fake news, disinformation, or misinformation about the coronavirus. And you can report fake news to the email address fakenewsalert@dtps.gov.za. That's fake news alert at dtps.gov.za. Alternatively, you can also report fake news via WhatsApp. The number is 067 966 4015. Again, WhatsApp 067 966 4015. Also, you can dial the COVID national hotline, which is 0800 029 999. And the Western Cape provincial hotline is 021 928 4102. We will post these in the comments below. Also important to know that if you are a person that's living with an abused partner, you can dial 0860 10 That's 0860 10 From me, Brigitte Limbanda, thank you for joining us today. Please leave us your questions and comments below. We'll post all these numbers and contact details in the comments as well. So from me, it's goodbye until tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chanel.
Bye.
Bye, Brigitte. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.